Just realized that I forgot to turn the air handler on, which you would notice pretty quick, honestly. They would get very warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect Topaz here. I just launched it from the taskbar. That's Topaz, that's Digilock. I locked it from the console, so it's just gonna connect and show that it's already locked and everything. But just wanted to go ahead and connect it over here. And I prepared some data sheets just so when we're ready. Go ahead and write 725 and where is it? 1000. I'll write the flow rate in a little bit once I recheck it. But anyway, check that. We'll be using that in a sec. Okay, so the last shutdown, I'll show this. I usually check the previous run's shutdown. That's probably the most important stat you could write from the previous run is one of the things, other than, you know, a million shots and power and all that's useful. I actually didn't write this power. I didn't expect a shutdown, but I did get this guy, 6. So that's going to be my comparison, because that shouldn't change too much from run to run unless you cycle the system a bunch, and then pumps. So I already got it aligned, and it looks like we're getting 5.2, so let's see if I can improve it. Yeah, I got the 6.4, which is usually close to what you see between like run to run with like a day's break in between, so that's pretty normal. So I'm gonna check the other two frequencies here. 6.4, 3.8. Need a new pin. 3.75. Very nice. That's what I like to see. Okay, sweet. Normally what we end up seeing is that the plus and minus, hopefully they're near each other. Usually the minus is sometimes a little lower, and that evens out as the run goes on and the room temp stabilizes better. Usually what we see is that this value is a little bit more than half of this. So that half of this would be 3.2, this is 3.8. That's the typical ratio we see. That part's been very consistent when you have good alignment. Then what I'll do is I usually click on cycle. When I go back to close this, before I close it up, I'll pull the power meter out, and I'll just check that this isn't changing, this pinhole. You can't really see it great on the video, but I'll check that it's not changing too much between locations, and it's not, so I'm gonna close up here. Okay, once it's all sealed up, I'm gonna block this, because when we turn the YAG on, we wanna make sure it's not immediately giving power, full power. So then, I got this power meter on a little bit ago. It's on 532, as it should be, and I know that that power meter's in place from last time, so now I'm gonna clean that back mirror there. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna keep an eye on these water temperatures. They're still getting up there, so we'll wait on them. Okay, now that that's clean, I'm gonna go ahead and usually do this just to check on things. So I'm gonna launch with the Bristol, so I can just watch to see. Once it says normal operation, you can begin locking it. Launch wavelength control program. I just go ahead and lock it early, just so it's nice and stabilized by the time I'm ready, even though the flash lamps aren't on yet. Something quirky with this is if you don't, if you start it, if you click this and then you try to drag it around, it will freeze and crash. If you try to move it around in the first like 5 minutes of it running. So I don't know why that's the case, but it is. As long as you don't drag the window around, you're good though. So I always go ahead and position where I want. I'm gonna set this to 20025. That's what's been working for us lately, and the last couple times I checked, it's been good. So start, check if that's kind of close, and it should be. And I have not once had this, either of these shift on me, so I'm not worried about it, but I'm gonna come back and check in a little bit. But I'll go ahead and switch it on auto lock. See, it's already going, 6394, nice. I'll come back and check this one later. But I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning the iron mirrors. I usually start with the, the mirrors inside of the pallet itself, these ones down here. The flip mirror, the focusing lens, and the SHG window, the LVO window, just so that those are ready and I can really just the only one that matters. But then I can let it run on IR for a while and warm up while I finish other things. I'll do that for both systems. While cleaning those, like I said, I'm going to come check, make sure that this guy's locking fine, and it appears to be locking just fine. No multi-mode on either of them either, so I'm going to clear chart just so we get a better representation here. Cool. Okay, all that's clean. I'm actually going to go ahead and override the warm up because we're almost at ADC. So if you hold this for somewhere between 10 and 20 seconds, you can get things going a little early. I'll skip the other one, but I'll just show you it here. When you press this, you'll hear it. See that turn on, you'll hear it click. You know you're good to go. Now come over and check simmer. Do I have it? I do. Very good. Hold on here. I'll turn on everything here. So let's flip this switch back. Photodiode. Turn on the fans now because we're about to turn the laser on, and then I'll plug this in and turn the computer on. Okay, so once I've verified that both systems are simmering and turned on their simmer, then I can continue. So I'm going to flip on fire enable. I'm going to flip this from repeat to single external. Then I turned this on when I showed that. That's on high voltage now. So I'm going to turn this up to 0.5 kilovolts and press this button 5 or 10 times to single fire it and make sure it responds properly. Very nice. Then I'm going to switch this to repeat. Press it again. All good. It's a little aliasing here, but it's flashing normally in person. And then I'm going to turn this up to 1 kilovolt. I'm going to do the exact same on the other system, around 1 kilovolt. It's not specific. Okay, and once both of these are on and flashing, they're warming up. I haven't cleaned any of these mirrors yet, but we're just on IR, so that's okay as long as the mirrors related to IR are clean. Mirrors and surfaces related to IR are cleaned. Now that that is on, these lamps, they're flashing on repeat, not external yet. That means I can go ahead and turn these choppers on so that later when I switch to external to measure power, they'll be ready to go. I just do this once they're both flickering on repeat, just fine. It's about time to come over here and check on this. How is it? Our timer is done, the warm-up timer's gone, so we're good to go. We're good to turn this on. I forgot to turn the cycle off. You know that's good now. Yeah, now that this guy's good, double checking again that I have nitrogen and water. I just always double check that. And turn this on, starting this real slow. And I forgot to turn this photodiode on, so I'm going to do that real quick. We have been leaving this photodiode uncovered, which I know may not be optimal, but it's under all the plastic, so it should be fine. And it's really nice to leave it uncovered because then we can keep it in the same position as a reference to how, to reference the relative power of the YAG from run to run. If this is in the same position, then it should give us the similar response to that flashing. And it's been a very nice system, actually. So I know where this should be. This should, once it's warmed up, once it's warmed up, I'm about to turn the seating on too. I'm just gonna check the location of this. Once this is warmed up, the seated point will be that bottom line from the top is where I've positioned the photodiode. So real quick, I'm gonna set the camera down to do this, but I'm gonna turn this seed, let's see. I'm gonna turn the seed from standby to on, and then I usually just flip it to manual for like 5 seconds, and then auto, and I'm grounded the whole time I'm touching this. And hey, just in time. Everything is normal. I usually like to let it warm up here, so we're putting less power through the cells as much as possible. It's not, I don't know how really big of a difference it is. I believe it's about 3 watt difference in the YAG, but anything helps preserve that dicel free. So anyway, that's that. And the next thing is, while this is warming up, I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of the PAL mirrors, and then we should, once this is warmed up, then we're pretty much good to go. I'll measure the power, the ASE and the 589 power, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the rest of the PAL mirrors real quick. A few things that I hadn't done yet is I didn't take the bags off of these mirrors. So I usually take them off, fold them in half, and stick them right here. I also did not yet turn this on to that marking, or this. I usually do them around this time. All right, then I'm gonna clean these. Okay, so the fact that this is so far down right now, I happen to know just from having done the last run, that the last run the room was very cold and it's very nice temperature right now because it's pretty warm outside. So this is almost certainly phase matching. So I'm gonna duck my head under and do some phase matching real quick, and then I'll show you what this looks like. So actually it wasn't really phase matching. I got maybe like half of one of those notches out of phase matching, but it's just the position of the photodiode. I must have moved it when I adjusted I must have moved this when I turned the power on. So if you watch it there, I'm gonna swing it back and forth and you'll see that go up. That's usually where I'll keep it as a reference. And I'll come back mid-run and check if this is still here. If it's gone down, then it probably needed phase match, because I know I just optimized it. Okay, anyway, I cleaned 372, now I'm gonna do 374. I lied, I'm actually gonna go ahead and measure the power here. We should be just about good to go. Our ASC is low enough right now, especially when you're seated, that you need to pull this out and optimize it, or offset it, I mean, to get a good measurement. Let's see. It'll be pretty reasonable. And again, this is, the beam is blocked right now, so this is just ASC we're measuring. It's pretty low. Probably, we could need a little more warming up. 8, 9, 10, 10. 10's actually reasonable. Okay, then I'm gonna pull this out. Let's see what we got. Just try not to measure this for too long if I can help it. I think our die's pretty old. I'll have to check that. 480 is not great, but it's it goes lower. I'll shoot this out for now. Yeah, so when I'm ready to shoot out, I'll just block the seat beam, pull the, block the 589 beam, pull the power meter out, and then unblock it, and we're good to go. We're good to go once I lock the Digilock, which should be warmed up. I wait for the last minute to do this because sometimes it takes a while to warm up. So launch it, minimize that window, position these nice, auto lock, scan, let's see, do we have a nice looking curve or what? It's pretty off to the side right now, I think. Here, I'm gonna match this and then I'll come back. So I went ahead and locked this. It's not very good right now. Usually in the first 30 minutes, the D2A signal improves a ton. I've tried to align it and it hasn't gotten much better, but like I said, in like 10, 15 minutes, it's gonna look perfect, so I'll just have to keep a close eye on it, make sure it doesn't change. And let's see what we get. I think there might be clouds, actually. Oh, I didn't turn on the PMT yet. Yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, a little bit of clouds. We'll see what happens. Okay, I should have been doing this as I went, but I gotta turn these guys up. Let them keep warming up. Okay, now that those irons are warming up a little better. This is not great. Generally we have, that's not probably not doing too much to our signal, but I haven't tried steering it yet, so. See if that helps us out. Usually a little steering is needed at the beginning at least. 80,000 counts, which is not great for nighttime, but usually we see between 80 and 100 with the condition of Diacell 3 and everything, so not too surprising. Steering, and then that's not too bad considering these levels and our Rayleigh counts. Metal layers have been low lately, so we'll see what the iron's given us. I think it'll be low as well, but that's probably close to as good as our steering is going to get. Yeah, I think so. Background's high because of the moon right now. There's some aerosol there, you can see. Usually write that down. Alright, back to warming up the iron. So I think it's the temporary shutdown because I didn't write much, but generally I'll reference the last high voltage and just put it there for starters. So I'll do that on both these systems now that they're pretty well warmed up. And I'll keep an eye on the threshold, but usually without adjusting the cavity, that threshold initially is not going to mean that much. Okay, and generally, it will go right back to the power that you had it at last. It's about what we had. 3.6, 3.7 long pulse IR, and I haven't adjusted the BRF tuner yet, so it's probably gonna get a little bit better, but check the beam spot shape, and if it's good, looks normal, which you won't be able to tell on camera, but it's pretty normal. I'm gonna go ahead and check the Q switch power before I adjust it. If you adjust it this early, probably just gonna mess it up. So, that on, this on. We're not even seated, so yeah, that power wasn't representative of much. So turn this until I see myself seated. Turning it to the right, clockwise. This should be somewhere like 7.2, 7.3, 7.4. You can't really read that here, but yeah, 7.4. So now before that power meter heats up too much, I'm going to come back and check long pulse IR, unseated, seated, and then I'll come over here and check things. Usually if I adjust the horizontal high reflecting mirror, the horizontal HR, then I'll recheck this because that's the direction we're afraid to go in. But vertical, I've noticed you can do a decent amount of vertical adjustment and that spot never changes, so I'll always check it after lamp adjustments. So of course, but all right, yeah, now we're at 4 long pulse IR, so that's much more realistic. We'll check the, it's not bad, not bad. It's stable. 4, this guy should be a 4.3, 4.4, looking like it's 4.3, 4.4 is what I'm seeing there. So that's good. I already checked the seated, so I'm actually just gonna go ahead and go straight to UV here. So I'll prepare this. We've got the collar set so that this is at the right height on both channels. Luckily it's equal, as it should be, I suppose. I like to check the long pulse here first, just in case anything's wrong. And take a look at the front of the LBO, just to make sure everything looks good. It's hitting about where it should. And it is. The power is a little low, but it's very likely just phase matching. But that's a little, well, this is not too straight. It's more likely just phase matching though. This is usually 90 to 100. But I think I just need to put on Q switch and phase match it. So I'll do that. Yeah, that's just going to be phase matching. Oh, well, it doesn't help that I'm on unseated. This is actually pretty good for unseated. I forgot that I was still at the seat block, so I'll go ahead and optimize this, I guess. Yeah, 1.4 to 1.5, 1.45, 1.5, that high end of the 1.4s is usually pretty good for us. This will probably be 1.8 to 2.0. Yeah, about. Alright, we're going to call that good. So flip this off. The other channel's not on, so I'm not going to contaminate anything, but so I could go ahead and open it, but I'll do things right. External Q switch trigger, pulse prohibit box enabled, and fire, and we're good to go. Already took that off, so then we'll come over here, power that on. We're on night config and everything. Nothing that changes this step at all, but then launch this, the DAC from over there, start it. First things first, set the config, do it twice to be certain, and start her up. Yeah, it looks good. All right, I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other channel. Oh, it's not okay. This is, I'm glad I filmed this actually. I forgot to switch it back over to Click cancel to not capture this. That shape means the timing is wrong, which means I forgot to switch it to external trigger on both channels. Forgot that. Power should be pretty similar though. Power's on this channel. The other channel, the power gets affected a decent amount, and usually you notice it during startup. So, well, I got that on video at least. Yeah, much better. Peaks around 20, so all right, that's good. Now I'm gonna do the other channel. So 372's up. Need to adjust its scale, but the 374 popped off seed while I was tuning up the other one. Not for too long, and I just got it back, so it'll jump back up, I'm certain. I'm gonna lower the peak on this. It likes to be below 20, and the star seems to be doing a little bit better, so that's good. Still needs some help, but let's see, back up to about 8,000, so that's good. 8,000 is actually really good, especially considering we have aerosol. Usually aerosol eats up a lot of those counts. That, mind keeping the mirrors clean, which putting these down will help, and we're up and running. So yeah, that's the startup. 30-minute video is much better than the old 2-hour one, I hope. Some of the shots aren't as nice because I filmed it myself. But anyway, yep. Good luck to whoever watches this. Oh yeah, I should say this. In these, you gotta watch these pretty close for the first couple hours. Not a couple hours, like 2 hours maybe. Same with the system too. For about the first hour and a half, you definitely want to watch it. But yep.